Ever freeze when someone crosses your line and your mouth locks? Or snap off a rushed okay you regret later? Imagine saying what you mean, with grace, without drama. That's what Jefferson Fisher teaches. Tools for spoken boundaries that feel calm, authentic, and human. You're going to hear 5 powerful principles that transform hard conversations into moments of clarity and connection. Number 1, speak with calm intention. When most people hear the phrase set boundaries, they picture a scene straight out of a heated argument. Voices raised, faces tense, the kind of moment that leaves both sides walking away with their guard up. But here's the truth Jefferson Fisher has learned after years in courtrooms, negotiations, and tense conversations. Boundaries don't have to come with a battle. In fact, the stronger your boundaries, the less drama you usually need to deliver them. That's because people are far more likely to listen and actually hear you when they feel safe. And one of the fastest ways to create that sense of safety, the way you speak. Speaking with calm intention isn't just about the words you choose, it starts before you even open your mouth. It's that quiet mental moment where you decide, I'm not here to fight. I'm here to be clear. That decision sets the tone for everything that follows. Picture this, you're at work, already balancing more tasks than you can handle, when a colleague swings by your desk with that familiar phrase, "Hey, could you help me with something?" It's urgent. Your pulse jumps. Your mind is already saying, "No, I can't handle this right now." In the past, maybe you'd blurt that out with frustration, or worse, say, "Sure," and silently resent it. But calm intention changes the script. You pause. You take one steady breath, not to stall, but to slow yourself down just enough to think. And when you do speak, it's not rushed or defensive. It's steady. I'm already at capacity, so I can't take that on. Can we find another solution? No drama, no guilt trip, no rambling list of reasons to justify your no. You've set the limit, but you've left the door open for problem solving. The relationship stays intact, and you don't walk away feeling like you either blew up or gave in. Tone is the secret weapon here. When your voice is calm, slower, a little softer, with clear, deliberate words, it sends a signal. I'm confident in this boundary, and I'm not attacking you. You avoid the verbal clutter that waters down your message. Phrases like sorry, but, or I hate to say this. Every unnecessary apology subtly tells the other person you're unsure of yourself. Jefferson Fisher often reminds people that calm doesn't mean weak. Calm is control. It's the difference between a driver yanking the wheel in panic and one who steers with steady hands, even on a rough road. That steadiness lets your words land without setting off alarms in the other person's brain. And here's the real win. When you speak with calm intention, you don't just protect your own energy. You model a way of communicating that other people will start to reflect back to you. Over time, you'll notice the temperature of your conversations drop. Tense moments become more like problem-solving sessions than tug-of-wars. Because the goal isn't to win against someone. It's to stand in your own truth without pushing them away. That's the kind of boundary that doesn't just hold in the moment. It sticks, it earns respect, and it makes every conversation that follows just a little bit easier. Number 2, pause, pair, share. You know those moments when someone throws something at you out of the blue, a request, a criticism, a problem you didn't see coming, and your brain suddenly feels like it's running 100 miles an hour? That's usually when we mess it up. We talk too fast, we say too much, or we say something we regret 2 minutes later. Jefferson Fisher has a reset button for moments like that. He calls it pause, pair, share. 3 little steps that, if you stick with them, will keep you from saying yes when you mean no, or snapping when you actually want to keep the peace. First, the pause. This isn't awkward silence. This is your power move. Think of it like a timeout for your brain. Just 3 seconds to inhale, drop your shoulders, and remind yourself, I don't have to answer right now. That tiny pocket of stillness is enough to flip you from reacting to responding. It's you getting back in the driver's seat instead of letting adrenaline take the wheel. Then, pairing. This is where you connect what's going on inside you to the words you're about to say. Feeling overwhelmed? Pair that with, I need a little space to think about this. Feeling disrespected? Pair it with, I'd like to continue this conversation when we can both listen. This step keeps you from falling back on automatic answers like sure or it's fine, which sound harmless, but usually lead to resentment later. Finally, share. And here's the part most people get wrong. You share simply. One clear, calm sentence. That's it. No 10-minute backstory. No apologizing your way into the sentence. Just the truth. Spoken plainly. Picture this. Your friend asks, hey, can you watch my dog this weekend? Meanwhile, your to-do list already looks like a CVS receipt. Your first impulse might be to blurt, no, I'm swamped, or to dodge with a fake excuse. Instead, you pause, you breathe. You take those 3 seconds to remember you're allowed to say no without being rude. You pair your reality with your response. I'm not free, but I still want to be helpful. And then you share, I can't this weekend, but I can help you find someone who's free. Done. You didn't overcommit. You didn't lie. You didn't burn the bridge. In under 10 seconds, you drew a clear line and still showed goodwill. The beauty of pause, pair, share is that it's not just for big confrontations. It works just as well for the little moments. The coworker who just needs a minute. When you're on a deadline, the relative who asks intrusive questions, the friend who pushes you past your comfort zone. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes. You stop filling silences with panicked chatter. You stop agreeing to things you'll regret later. And you start responding in a way that keeps both your boundaries and your relationships intact. That's the kind of skill that pays off in every single corner of your life. Number 3, the 3 C's. Control, confidence, connection. Think of a difficult conversation like driving in bad weather. The road is slick, the visibility is low, and every little twitch of the wheel matters. If you lose control, even for a second, you skid. And in a conversation, once you skid, you're no longer steering. Your emotions are. That's where Jefferson Fisher's 3 C's come in. Control, confidence, connection. And here's the key. They're not a pick-and-choose menu. They're a sequence. Each one sets up the next. It starts with control. And no, not controlling the other person, controlling yourself. Before a single word leaves your mouth, check in with your body. How's your breathing? Is your jaw locked? Are your arms crossed like you're guarding a fortress? Is your voice tight like you're about to snap? Every bit of that sends a message before your actual message even arrives. So you reset. Uncross your arms. Drop your shoulders. Unlock your jaw. Breathe like you've got time. And here's the subtle trick. Speak just a little slower than your racing heart wants you to. That pace alone tells the other person, I'm steady, I'm in control, and I'm not here to escalate this. Then comes confidence. And I'm not talking about chest puffing, I own the room confidence. I'm talking about grounded certainty. Knowing what you mean and saying it without flinching. This is where you cut the verbal clutter. Instead of, I'm so sorry, but I really don't think I can. I mean, maybe later, but right now is just, you say, I'm not available for that. Direct, respectful, period. You didn't lace it with over-apologies. You didn't pad it with excuses. You just drew the line with clarity, and that's what makes people take you seriously. Finally, connection. This is where you keep your boundary from feeling like a slammed door. It's the bridge that lets the other person know, I value you. even if I'm saying no right now. It can be as simple as, "This is tough, but I want to pick this up when we're both calmer." Or, "I can't right now, but I'd love to revisit this next week." See the difference? You didn't just shut them down, you left the relationship open for the next conversation. What's brilliant about the 3 Cs is how they feed into each other. Control keeps your tone steady so your confidence doesn't sound like aggression. Confidence gives your words the backbone they need so your connection feels genuine, not performative. And connection ensures that your boundary lands without burning a bridge. When you start using all 3, you stop thinking of boundaries as walls you hide behind and start seeing them as gates you control. You decide when they open, when they close, and on what terms. And that one shift can completely change the energy of every tough conversation you'll ever have. Number 4, keep a verbal toolkit handy. Here's the truth. In the heat of the moment, your brain is a terrible improviser. You think you'll be calm, clear, and clever. But then under pressure, words either spill out too fast or not at all. That's why Jefferson Fisher swears by what he calls a verbal toolkit. Short, reliable phrases you can grab instantly when the tension cranks up. Think of it like carrying a pocket knife. 99% of the time, it just sits there. But the one time you really need it, you're glad it's within reach. The key is to stock this toolkit with phrases that sound like you. Not like you're reading from a self-help book, and not like a robotic conflict resolution script. They need to fit your voice, your tone, your personality. And you've got to practice them enough that they roll out naturally, even when your heart's pounding. Here are some Fisher-tested examples. "I can't do that right now, but I care. Can we talk later? I'm not open to this discussion at the moment. I need to pause. Let's come back when we're both ready. That's hard to hear, Sal. Let's table this for now." Notice something? They're short. They're clear. They're emotionally neutral. No accusations. No defensiveness. Just a calm statement that sets the boundary without throwing gasoline on the fire. Now, here's where most people mess this up. They wait until they're in the middle of a heated conversation to figure out what to say. Big mistake. In the moment, adrenaline floods your system. Your brain's processing speed tanks. And you start grasping for words that either over-explain, over-apologize, or overreact. The fix? Practice. Out loud. Yes. Even if it feels awkward. In your car. While making coffee. In front of the mirror. You're not rehearsing for a Broadway show. You're training your brain and mouth to cooperate under pressure. When you've said a line a dozen times in a low-stakes environment, it's there when you need it in a high-stakes one. And here's another tip. Build your toolkit in layers. Start with the basics. A few phrases for pausing, a few for saying no, a few for redirecting a conversation. Then customize. Create one for family tension. I hear you, but I'm not engaging on that topic right now. One for workplace overload. I'm at capacity. Let's discuss priorities. And one for friends who push too far. I care about you, but that's not a subject I'm comfortable with. Over time, you end up with a personal, portable set of conversational safety lines. You don't have to use them all the time. But when you do need them, they keep you anchored, keep your boundaries firm, and keep your relationships from tipping into unnecessary damage. Because in the end, boundaries aren't just about what you won't allow. They're about how you communicate those limits in a way that protects both your peace and the connection you have with the other person. And a well-stocked verbal toolkit, that's your best insurance policy. Number 5, frame difficult talks with purpose. No one loves hard conversations, but avoiding them often makes the problem worse. Fisher's approach: don't wander into them, frame them. Give them structure before they start. Framing is about setting expectations. You can open with something like, This might be a sensitive topic, and I appreciate you listening. I want to talk about issue and see if we can find clarity together. Right away, you've done 3 things. You've signaled that the topic matters, you've acknowledged it could get emotional, and you've set a shared goal. Why is this powerful? Because it takes away the element of surprise. People are less defensive when they know what's coming. If this resonated with you, give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share it with someone who might need these tools today. And in the comments, tell me, which of these 5 techniques are you going to try first? See you in the next one.